Welcome back to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where we invite professionals in their fields to educate and inspire the community to feel healthier, more balanced and live a lifestyle they love. And for our first interview today, we have a viewer's request, George Gentilis, a somatic psychotherapist, and today he's here talking to us about spirituality and staying present. Welcome, George.
Thank you for having me back. Yeah, so living in the present and your spiritual self, spirituality, big topic, very important, because like we've done in the previous segments, once you learn how to heal, you release anxieties, you release depression, release all these reactions, who are you in the end? I mean, what's left over? You can live a fulfilling life, you can reach your goals better, but what you'll probably discover is that who you really are is a formless, timeless being in a body. And you're not your thoughts. You're not really your thinking. So we've got that intellect brain that separates us from the animal kingdom that I've talked about in the past. It's great for planning, great for memorizing. We can plan ahead things, but it also gets in the way if we begin to realize that we get lost in the fact that that's what we are. And if you get too lost in your thinking, people will actually say, I feel lost, or I've lost my passion for life, I don't know why I'm here, or I don't know what I really want to do, or you lose sight of goals. But as you heal those things, then you start to realize who you really are, and you're actually not the thoughts in your head. You have thoughts in your head, obviously, and it's a tool. We've got past thoughts, which are memories of what just happened. There's future thoughts of what might happen. And if you overlive in the future, then you just tend to worry a lot, like I talked about in anxiety. Or if you live too much in the past, stuck in the previous thoughts, you'll have a lot of guilt and depression sets in because, all this weight of the past, and because you're living through the thoughts. But really, you're not your thoughts. You're actually the person choosing the thoughts. And when you realize that, then you get present. Then you start to live in reality, which is just this moment. So if you think about it, this moment is always now. It can never not be now. It's now again. It's now again. If I ask the question, is it now? The answer will always be yes. So is it now? Yeah. Is it now? Yeah. Is it now? It's now again. It's now again. It's now again. It's always now. In other words, it's now forever. And your conscious thinking brain can't handle that, because your conscious brain is used to living through memories and putting a length to the present moment. But really the present moment has no length, it's just now. It's now again, it's now again, here you are, here I am. Well, reality is just this present moment, and it's always now. But why do we think that it has a length? Because we've got our intellect which slots and creates time. And that's great, like I said, it's a great tool, we need it. But it stops us from remembering who we really are. So you've got to spend time in your day, each day at some point where you stop, connect to the universe, connect to yourself, other people, and realise that you're one being of millions of beings, and you're just connected to the whole universe, and it's very powerful. So really your success in life isn't determined with effort, the doing. Yes, you've got to do that. Your success is really determined is how you do that doing, the quality of that doing in this present moment now, which is your being. Your being must come first, the doing comes second. And who is the being? The aware you that lives in this body, that gets to choose which thought to have. When you can't choose the thought, that's when you're stuck in anxiety or depression or reactions or traumas or negative belief patterns that limit you. But really you're not a limited person. You are a peaceful, loving, joyous, free and healthy human being, perfect in every way. You're that right now, this moment. That's there within you. But it gets covered up with traumas and anxieties and worries about the future, and going off into all these thought forms in your head, when really you can actually step back and realise who's actually choosing those thoughts, and it's the aware you, that's the real you. And when you get more in touch with that, and which is why it's important to do that every day, to stop, take a few minutes, do a little mindfulness meditation and switch that thinking brain off and realise you're not those thoughts, Then you start to get in touch with your heart, with the real you start to come home to your body, the real home, which takes you wherever you want to go. You can travel the world and you're always home because you're in your body. You have people who go looking for themselves in other countries and realise their problems are there again, and they just recreate them because they haven't come home to themselves first and opened up to their heart first. And that's when you start to discover what you really love to do, rather than the world telling you externally, this is what you should be doing for money, or work, do this job or that job, you can earn more. But what do you really love to do? Find what you really love to do, find a way to earn a living from it, and that's the ultimate fulfillment. When you're running your life, you're totally in control. You should be.
So for our viewers, George, how can people feel more fulfilled?
Yeah, more fulfilled. Well, the best thing you can do is to do some mindfulness meditation, to actually close your eyes, go into your body and embody yourself. And mindfulness is a weird word because you don't want to be in your mind, you actually want to be in your whole body. So you want to be more bodyful, more body mindfulness. So it's bodyfulness, if you want to call it, embodying into your body, coming home, as I said before, into your body, feeling the sensations in your body. And the best way to do that is to notice the sensations in your body. And the number one is your breathing. We breathe in our chest, we breathe in our belly. To notice if you're breathing just in your chest or your belly, and notice as it expands and contracts, it just follow that sensation in your body, which is the lower brain, which takes your focus off the intellect. So all that mind chatter can slow down, switch off. And anytime you go back into your head and your mind takes over and you're off thinking about dinner tonight or whatever, the best question you can ask yourself is, what's happening in my body now? And start scanning down your body. Notice left and right side. There'll be a difference because we're muscle-wise symmetrical, and you'll notice a difference. So if I notice it now, my awareness has gone straight to my feet, and in my ankles I can feel my right one tingling, my left one isn't. That's just got me out of my head, just for a brief second. So if you do that more often, you start to become more embodied, more present in the moment, and if you connect with nature, often because nature is very still, they're very present, they don't have an intellect to go off and over worry about things that may never happen, and also the universe, out the stars at night to realise how you're part of this enormous universe out there that we hardly know about yet, and that you're equal to any being in the universe, and you are, you definitely are. And as you get present in the moment, don't think as much, only use the thoughts when you need them. Then you come alive, heart opens up, start doing what you love doing, and you get less distracted by all that avalanche of marketing out in the world, and start to live a more fulfilled life. So,
thank you, George. It's been wonderful to hear all about these amazing topics you've shared. And for more information on George and spirituality and able to stay in the present, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. After the break, we have more viewers' requests. We have Vicky Jamieson, 5 top tips of staying younger, and Tracy Jardim talking about raw food and gluten intolerance. And next we have Vicky Jamieson, who's here today to talk to us about her top tips for staying younger. She's a skin nutritionist, so she's expert in her field. Welcome, Vicky.
Thank you.
So what would be your top 5 tips?
Well, it's really simple, and it starts off with looking at what really ages our skin prematurely. So the 3 things that age us prematurely are sun, pollution, and also stress. So my 5 tips that everyone can do, and they're all really simple. So the first one is, of course, to protect against the sun, which is using an SPF every single day. And one of the key things I get asked a lot is what number should I have? So SPF 15 is the best because it has the less chemicals and toxins in it, so it's better for your skin and better for your body. So a 15, and then to reapply is actually a best idea. The second tip is cleansing your skin every night. Well, in fact, we all have pollution on our skin, and if you think about how much is around Melbourne. You can see it in the sky. So that will break down. Your skin absorbs at night whatever's on your skin. So we want to wash that away before we go to sleep. The third thing is actually breathing. I'm talking about abdominal breathing or meditation or that kind of diaphragmic breathing where you're breathing from your tummy. So we're actually expanding the lower part of our diaphragm, and that actually does this really amazing thing in our body. It triggers to the nervous system to relax. So it gives the nervous system a really good break from our busy life and always being switched on, which would normally break down our skin. So when we're on, we release cortisol, and when we're just busy, that's what breaks down our skin. So it breaks down connective tissue all over our body, but particularly our collagen. So if we don't do anything about that, we will get saggier skin and you'll see deeper lines. So that's kind of a key, and it's really easy to do. Now, if you can't sit still, start with 2 minutes a day and build up to 5 minutes and then 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is ideal every single day. And then the fourth thing is actually using some skincare. So I go for non-toxic skincare that's plant-based, but also very science-based. So what I mean by that is using plant-based ingredients, which are really healthy for our skin and help feed it like food, but can also process to the lower level where our skin's being made. So once it gets down there, that's how we can start our skin keeping nice and healthy and vibrant and young and making the right kind of cells. So things to look for are no parabens, because those are the toxins, no chemicals. It takes 26 seconds for your skin to absorb chemicals into your bloodstream. So we're also having a health effect, which then may come out on our skin. So think of pimples, eczema, that type of thing. Could be a good indication that you've got too many chemicals in your products. And then looking for something that will work every single day. So keeping it simple. And the last tip, my number 5, is nutrition and hydration. So those seem like really obvious, but they directly impact our skin. So our skin reflects whatever we are putting in our body just as much as what we're putting on our skin. So obviously a high plant-based diet, but also making sure, and this is particularly important for women over 40, or as our hormones change and we come into perimenopause and menopause, we actually start eating away our muscle tissue, and that's also our collagen in our face and everywhere in our body. So to stop that sagging, we need to get enough protein, and then we also need to have enough nutrients going into our body. So while we say whole foods, you also nowadays need supplementation, but a good supplement. The water is very important because it helps move everything around. So the function of our skin is actually to get rid of toxins and to heat regulate. So the water content actually keeps your skin hydrated, moist, so you get that great glow. That will keep you looking a lot younger. And then it also obviously you are feeling better because you can get things moving around in your body.
Wonderful. For more information on Vicky and skin nutrition, please go to our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. And now we have with us Tracy Jardim, who's a raw food advocate. And she's here today to talk to us about raw food and gluten. Welcome, Tracy.
Thanks, Linda. First of all, I'd like to talk about what raw food actually is. So raw food is food that has not been refined, chemically processed, canned, or heated to over 48 degrees Celsius. So the reason why I wanted to talk about gluten and raw food is because gluten is such a big issue for a lot of people nowadays. Celiac Australia tell us that there's approximately 1 in 70 people in Australia who actually have celiac disease. And this is a really high number. But another concern is that they say the majority of the people who have celiac disease actually aren't aware of it. And further on that, 1 in 14 people actually are saying that they have a gluten intolerance.
So what is exactly celiac disease? Is that a complete intolerance? What is that?
So yes, celiac disease is basically an allergy, a complete allergy to anything that contains gluten. And if it's consumed by someone who has celiac disease, it causes inflammation and damage to the stomach. So, and it can't be reversed. The only way that it can be treated is with a gluten-free diet. So it's actually incurable. So raw food is actually either low in gluten or completely gluten-free, and that's why it's important to include some raw food in our diets, especially for people who have an issue with gluten content. The other thing to remember is that when we're going out and looking for foods that are labelled gluten-free, do check the labels, turn it around and have a look, because then it may contain traces of gluten, and that's really important for people who have celiac disease, because any trace of gluten can actually be life-threatening.
We see a lot of gluten-free products in the shop, or that are labelled gluten-free products. Are they all actually good for us?
No, actually, they're not all good for us, because a lot of the gluten-free products, like bread, for example, contain a lot of refined sugars. That's something we're going to be talking about next week. So it's important to make sure that we include raw food in our diet, especially when we've got a gluten intolerance.
Oh, that's great. And for some more like top tips for our viewers, what would you say is your absolute top tip for our viewers?
I would say that if gluten is an issue for you, make sure that you're including lots of leafy greens and vegetables and fruits, and seeds and grains that don't include gluten, like oats, barley, rye and wheat.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. And now we'll go to break. For more information on Tracy and about gluten in your foods, then please go to our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. After the break, we'll be back with a viewer's request. Petro Delitis talking about healthy eating and demonstrating a healthy salad dressing. And now we have something completely different. Petros Delitis is joining us today, who's a chef, and he's here today talking to us about healthy eating, and he's going to show us a vegan salad dressing. Welcome, Petros.
Thanks, Linda.
So what sort of ingredients are you working with today?
Look, I source ingredients from all over Victoria. So Kookaburras are all the asparagus is grown for in Australia. All we've done today to this asparagus is just roast it at about 180 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. Just gets nice and golden and beautiful. The dressing we're going to do for it is something super simple and easy. It's a multi-purpose dressing for me. We use it for dressing a salad. We use it for, a little spoon over some barbecued or grilled meats. It's really super conventional. You can even toss a salad with it as well, over some lettuce leaves. It's just a really good alternative to pesto. So it's no nuts and no cheese, so it's completely vegan.
Okay.
But we've just got some basil here. I'm going to tear off some parsley, the whole bunch. Straight in there. I've got some garlic, some chili, and I'm just going to zest a lemon in here as well. So all I'm doing here, I'm just going to top and tail, I suppose, the lemon, and I'm going to sort of segment on the outside. I'm going to try and not have as much as this pith, because that's what actually makes it bitter. the less work you give your machine to do, the faster your dressing is going to come up. And ultimately, whenever you're blending herbs like this, you don't want to have obstruction when you're blending. You don't want to have, if I put this whole lemon in here like this, it'll take too long to blend. So when you're dealing with herbs, you want to blend as fast as possible. So what that means is, yes, we're going to use a food processor, but we're only going to blend for about 30 seconds. So I'm going to get about 250 mils of oil in here, and I'm just going to blend it, and that's it. So now that the dressing's done, that just takes sometimes 20 to 30 seconds. As I said, from this stage, we can put it into a container or a salad dressing bottle and leave it in the fridge. It keeps up to a week. But for now, I just want to develop some flavor into this asparagus salad. The darkened asparagus from roasting the vegetables is really nice, but I'm trying to juxtapose some color here with the dressing and the blood orange and the fennel that I want to incorporate. All I'm doing here is just dressing a little bit of apple cider vinegar. It's just a little quick pickle. Again, I'm going for some acidity because all we've put on the asparagus is some chopped thyme. So chopped thyme and some olive oil into the oven. So I'm just going to leave this here for a few moments and let it naturally break it down a little bit. It won't be too much because we're using fennel. I really want some citrus on this. So as much as the acidity from the apple cider vinegar is really good, I feel as if the citrus from blood oranges is something that's, one, colourful, and it's going to increase some colour onto the plate, but it's going to give us a different type. So I'm going to just do a little bit of blood orange zest over the top. And the same way as I did with the lemons, I'm just going to remove the pith and do like slices. But the reality is, if you just had, if we just approached it a little bit differently with our salads, that's something that we've always done.
Beautiful colour in the blood orange,
It is,
isn't
right?
it?
And again, if you don't have any blood oranges, you can just use a navel orange or a grapefruit if you want. Like, it's whatever, a little bit of everything in here. And we're just building the salad. And now the fennel has done its work. The apple cider vinegar has done its work on the fennel. It's nice and acidic, and it hasn't broken it down completely. It hasn't deteriorated. But the fennel now has a different level of acidity. So as much as you've got sweet and acidic oranges, you're now going to have some beautiful, sweet, fresh fennel. Again, we're playing this game. I like to work on textures as much as I can. Excite the palate when we eat as much as possible. So I'm even going to incorporate some pumpkin seeds over the top. And again, like you mentioned before, for the vegan contingent of the world can eat nuts and pumpkin seeds, and that's fine. But again, I wanted texture now to finish our dish with now. The dressing here, I said it's really loose. It doesn't really change its consistency much when you keep it in the fridge overnight or whatever. Just a little over the top.
Wow.
And as I said, this is really good on roasted and grilled meats off the barbecue or out of the oven. So it's super easy. You can make that any time. As I said, this keeps at least a week in the fridge.
Thank you, Petros, for sharing. It looks and smells absolutely divine. And for more information on Petros and healthy eating, then please go to our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And for now, we'll say bye-bye, and we'll see you back here next week.